Hello, welcome to day one of my 2026 daily Tour Divide coverage. The races are underway now, and let's get over to track leaders and have a little look to see what's been going on. So obviously, first day, we're still under 24 hours, so at the moment we are about just under 20 hours in. So it's hard to kind of take too much out of it. Obviously, there's a lot of riders very close together. A lot can still happen, and riders are going to get spread out as the race goes on. But we've got a kind of the lead group that we kind of suspected. I'll just put this on full screen. There's a lead group, some lead riders who we probably suspected might be up there. The standout at the moment is Victor Bosoni, the French rider, a young French rider. Might not be that familiar to some of the followers over in the US, but he won the Transcontinental race last year. He also won the Atlas Mountain race earlier this year. He's like 24 or 25, super young. He's looking like he's just on Galton Pass, about to cross over Galton Pass. So he should be crossing over the border to the US in the next couple of hours or so. Interestingly as well, he also started 20 minutes behind his start time. So basically there's waves of riders just to ease the kind of congestion in Banff at the start now that the event is so big. And I think he was delayed. I'm not exactly sure why, but he was about 25 minutes behind. So, you know, to have that gap already is quite impressive. So we'll see whether he's kind of gone out a bit hot or whether he's just incredibly strong. Well, I know he's incredibly strong. Elsewhere, Alex McCormack, he looks like he might stop for the moment. And then we've got a big bundle of riders basically in Butt's Cabin. So Butt's Cabin, many years ago, sort of 10 years ago, that used to be the place everyone used to aim for, and only one or two riders would get there on the first night. But now it seems like quite a few people get there. So we've got 4 riders in there at the moment. So Xavier Chiraboga, he was 5th last year. Lawrence Tendam, he was 3rd a couple of years ago. Then Miku Kenu and Niels Kolb. So 4 of those guys basically having a night in the cabin. I have slept there myself. It's not necessarily always the quietest night because riders do come in and go, but it looks like there's only those 4 riders, so they might be okay. But just 4 sweaty, smelly guys in a small cabin. It's not necessarily the best recipe for good sleep. However, it has been raining by the looks of it. We'll come on to that in a while, so it might just be a nice shelter to get out the rain for a while. And then we've got Angus Young just behind. Looks like he's sleeping, and I suspect I know where. There's a little kind of like a hut with a bit of a covered area. I'm pretty sure it's around that area just before the junction, coming out off the sort of the Flathead River onto Cabin Pass. So I suspect he might be sleeping there. I know that because I slept there in 2022. So essentially they're all together. And then David Chan, he looks like he's just sort of rolled through. I don't know whether he stopped or not. We can check the race flow in a second. So that's it for now at the sort of the front, and then we've got a few riders spread around, and most people seem to have stopped for the night in Fernie, including Megan Hakkinen. She was leading out the women's race. Karen Pocock's there. Who else have we got in there? I'll zoom in a bit and see. So basically, all the front women. So Torin Lackman, there's Megan Hakkinen, and we've got Elisa Secreto. They're all in Fernie, taking it sensible, I'd say, and getting a nice sort of warm sleep. So that's the sort of the quick update for now. Before we go any further, I just need to thank my sponsors. So let's head over and do that. So this coverage is made possible by Redshift. So a big thank you to Redshift. They also support my ULTRASCAPE podcast. So if you've not listened to that, then check out the podcast where I'm joined by my co-host Becky Waters, and we discuss basically the world of ultra cycling and bikepacking. We had a great chat with Justina Slevejka, who was a 2024 Divide winner the other day on the last episode. And Redshift support that, and they support this coverage. So they do loads of really cool products, as you can see. That includes things like the shock stop stems and seat posts, and a range of really sort of cool handlebars, and also one product which actually I wasn't really convinced when I first saw it. It's these mouse trap pedal adapters. Basically, they clip into a SPD pedal and allow you to run it with kind of flat shoes, normal shoes. I've got a set here actually in my office, and these are one of those products which probably I was never convinced at, but I use it all the time. They're really excellent. I just keep them in my van or my car, in the workshop, and then say I want to go and test ride a bike, just check the gears or whatever. I could just clip them on, and also really useful to have in the van if I'm at a race or an event and just want to nip into town without the SPDs on. So yeah, really cool little product. I think there's some different variations coming in later in the year as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for that from Redshift. And again, I'll run through various things Redshift over the coming weeks, and yeah, there's a discount as well, so I'll put the link on screen for Redshift. So yeah, check out their website. And Enduro bearings, I've already mentioned that I've been using Enduro bearings for years, and I don't think I've ever replaced a bottom bracket that I've had. And I do quite a lot of riding. I've got max hit bottom brackets, I've got XD15 bottom brackets. I'll maybe talk about the differences between the two in a later episode. But yeah, I've done like 3 or 4 ultras at a time on an XD15 bottom bracket. Never had to replace it, and yeah, excellent quality products. They last a long time, and yeah, so definitely recommend those. And yeah, big thank you to Enduro Bearings for supporting what I do. And yeah, if you would like to support my coverage, subscribing is a really good help as well. I've also got memberships as well on YouTube, and yeah, basically you'll get the updates a couple of hours earlier each day. So yeah, a little bonus there for you, and that helps me keep on doing it. So let's have a little look and see where the riders are today. So as you probably know, the Tour Divide starts in Banff in Canada, and there's about 200 miles or so. I can tell you on here, 260 miles before the US border. So as you can see, Victor, we looked at the tracker, Victor is basically on Galton Pass, which is it's the biggest pass here in Canada. It sounds like there isn't any snow on it. I did wonder if there might be some snow, but there's not really been any reports of snow, just been quite wet and muddy so far. So actually it's probably been relatively fast. It's obviously not as fast as if it was dry, but I've hiked over Galton in 2022. It was like 5 or 6 miles hiking. Just slows things down. But if you're rolling and moving, even if it is muddy, you're kind of going to be on for a fairly good average speed, and we'll check that out on the tracker in a minute. But yeah, so this is Ride with GPS, and I thought, quite often it's very hard to see where these riders are actually riding, but Ride with GPS have just added this community photos layer, which is excellent. So you go into the layers section here, click on community photos, and what that allows is basically anyone with the app can take a photo and sort of geolocate it. So it gives us an excellent opportunity to be able to click on the photos and see where the riders are going. So this is Spray Lakes Road. Just a big gravel road near the start, so riders would have gone down here. It's actually quite bumpy. A lot of these dirt roads get corrugations, so it's not necessarily as comfortable as you'd like, but then it is a Tour Divide, and there's a lot of roads like this along the way. We see a trend of more riders riding full suspension bikes, and certainly suspension like on a mountain bike hardtail. I think probably the main person that's not at the very front of the race this year is Victor Bosoni. Actually, we'll come on to that in a second. So yeah, that section there, fairly fast, and you can just click on and see this is the single track section. So there's I think it's about 10 miles of single track, something like that. So you can see, it's fairly easy going on the whole, on the first section. And then the first sort of major challenge is Coco Claims, which is this little dog leg here, as you can see. Again, it's just a hiker bike, probably hour and a half at worst. for the front guys at least anyway, probably a couple of hours for some of the slower riders. And yeah, funnily enough, there's no photos because everyone's too busy pushing their bike up. So that's one of the first challenges. Oh, here we go, look. So you can kind of get an idea of it. That's the top section, but it gets quite steep in that wooded valley there. So this layer section I'm going to refer to quite a lot over the course of the race, and yeah, should be quite useful just to bring a bit more kind of life to the race reportage. So that's where the riders are at. If you want to see all this stuff, it's available on Ride with GPS Premium, and they've given me a 25% discount code to pass on to followers. So I'll link that on the screen. And yeah, we'll refer to Ride with GPS quite a lot over the coming weeks, as it gives some really good info and insight into the route. So let's just go back to track leaders now, and I mean it's still quite early, so it's quite difficult to get real clear kind of data at this point, but this is something again that if you've not watched this kind of coverage before, we'll refer to quite a lot. So it's the kind of the race flow. So essentially a flat line is someone not moving, and a kind of the gradient shows the speed. So when you're when it's steeper, the rider's going faster. When it's flatter, they're going slower. But it gives us a good kind of indication as to how riders are moving along and how they're sleeping. And you can see Alex McCormack looks like he's not stopped yet, and nor's Victor. These look like the only two that have done that. The others look like they've all slept. So basically, these guys, so Laurens ten Dam, he's purple. All these guys are in Butt's cabin. So they're all looking like, looks like Lauren's got there first. And yeah, they're all kind of, this would be the stop here because they're stopped at the moment. So they've all been there a little while now. And yeah, they're just kind of just resting away. And yeah, taking it easy. I mean, it doesn't always pay to go super hard on the first few days of Tour Divide. I mean, Robin rode through the night last year. It looks like Victor's trying to sort of emulate that, and probably Alex too. But sometimes actually having bigger sleeps early on does pay back later. So that's kind of a good thing to keep an eye on. And also the run rest is very interesting here. So far, Alex just hasn't stopped, 100% moving. I don't know whether that meant he didn't resupply in Fernie or not. I'll try and find out at some point. Victor, 99.1%. So he's obviously had a very quick stop somewhere. Again, I imagine the gas station in Fernie. He's got a very high average moving speed. So as I said, he was about 25 minutes late starting behind this kind of lead group. So he caught them pretty quickly. He seems to have a very, very high average speed. I'm not sure if that's an error, or if it's just going super, super hard. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that anyway. Alex is probably normally kind of 11-12 miles an hour seems to be about the average moving speed. I think Robin was around that speed last year. So these are that's the kind of pace I'd expect, especially given the conditions. Victor just does seem very fast. So yeah, either he's just a level above everyone else, or maybe he's kind of gone a little bit too hard too early. I mean, time will tell. You can't hide on the Tour Divide, so we'll definitely find out sooner rather than later. And everyone else, yeah, kind of Laurens, again, he's got a high average speed, 14 miles an hour, 43.6 miles an hour here for Niels Cobb. That must be, well, that is an error, 100% an error. So yeah, hopefully that'll balance out at some point. Sometimes you get tracking errors, which maybe his tracker turned off and it's kind of averaged out after it jumped forward. So yeah, Laurens looking like he's strong. Victor looks like he's the fastest, but not resting. That will pay. He will pay for it later. And he's also riding that fully rigid bike, the new Factor gravel bike with mountain bike tyres in. I think that might slow him down a bit in certain sections. Obviously on the road sections he'll be faster. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Angus, he's 12.6 miles an hour. He's been riding fairly fast. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And then Meg, 11.1. Again, one of the fastest riders in the field. She's taken that early night. We'll hear from her in a second. I've got a voice note. So yeah, it looks very interesting. I mean, early days, it doesn't mean too much at this point. It's a long race, a very long race, and it's very easy to overcook it on the first day until the riders are out of Montana. I think when you get through Montana and into Wyoming, then you can really see the pattern developing. If you're going to overcook it through Montana, then you're going to pay later. So we'll see how that goes. So I think the next thing is probably to listen to what Megan has to say. So I've got updates from various riders over the course of the race. This is a little update from Megan, and let's see how her first day went.
Megan Hakkinen, Tour Divide update, day 1. I went out with the starting wave this morning. There was a lot of energy at the send-off. Crazy Larry was there. We took a group photo. I got to see my parents and Sadie the dog, so just good vibes all around. It was a mixed bag of weather. There was some sun and some rain and some pretty cool temperatures. But Coco Claims wasn't as snowy as some of those photos online had made it look. So I was relieved about that. It was still hard, but not a nightmare. And I got to Fernie feeling a lot better than I did last time around. I was pretty destroyed when I got to Fernie. I had an upset stomach. I wasn't putting out much power at the end. And this time around, I felt really good. So I still go to hotel for the night because I want to start out with good, consistent sleep. And I'm going to sleep for 4 hours and hopefully be on the bike again at 2 a.m.
So that was Megan. Sounds like she's kind of in control, which is good. Sounds like, the conditions have been a little bit rough. It can be wet up there. I've ridden that section in the rain, not on the race itself, but it just can drain you a little bit. So Alex Kowalski, he's one of the single speed riders. He popped this story up saying, just a lot of mud out there. So again, he's a rider that looks like he's looking after himself. A lot of people have stayed in Fernie. And he's in the room with Bailey Newbury as well. So the two single speed riders, or two of the favourites for the single speed category, are together. Just a lot of rain, a lot of mud, and that does just drain you over time. It sounds like a lot of riders have opted for Fernie there. So that's good to hear from Megan. I've also got a little video from Angus Young, and again, there's kind of a theme with what everyone's got to talk about. I mean, there's not much to talk about when you're just riding the Tour Divide all day. It's kind of the weather is one of the big things. So let's see it from Angus and see what he said. I think this was from the gas station in Fernie.
As you can probably see, it's been quite muddy. The sun's come out, which is nice, but it's been raining most of the day. Legs feeling good. I think I'm currently third on the road, but just sort of tapping away really, all is well. It's been beautiful. But hard work, hard going. Loving things. Anyway, ciao.
Yeah, so that was Angus. Sorry about the sound there. I've got to unmute the video. Angus is very experienced. He's done a lot of these races. I've been racing against him for a number of years. It looks like he's gone out fairly strong, and we'll see how he goes. I mean, I said in my preview, he's ridden the Eastern Divide Trail. He's done some really long stuff. I guess it's a case of getting in the rhythm. Everyone's covered in mud. So those riders who have stayed in Fernie will probably be very grateful to just have a shower, rinse the kit out. It's the Tour Divide. It's attritional. So looking after yourself really does pay dividends as you go along. One thing I didn't mention, Seb Breuer was a rider who I highlighted. Is an exceptional athlete. Really is very strong, but it just seems like luck's not going his way at the moment. So he was up there early on. When I checked the tracker sort of earlier yesterday, I'm in UK, so earlier today in the US, he was right at the front, but it looks like he's scratched already. It's a real shame, but it sounds like he basically just toppled over doing a river crossing, and it looks like a rock's gone straight through the carbon chainstay of his bike. I guess it's just one of those things. I mean, when you've got, he's got his bag set up on the back there, there's a lot of weight on the back of the bike, and bikes aren't designed to take lateral kind of impact, and it looks like it's just a silly mistake, and these things can happen. And that's part of the divide as well, avoiding silly mistakes like this. I really do feel for Seb, especially he's flying over from Germany as well. He's had a rough time of it. He broke his I think it's his collarbone or his arm, or fractured his arm not that long ago, so he's been trying to recover for it anyway. But yeah, I guess sometimes it's just not to be. It's a shame, because I do like watching Seb race, and he would have definitely been an animator on this year's Divide. So yeah, sorry about that, Seb. All the best, and just a bit gutted for Seb, but these things happen. So I guess the rule about these things is to finish first. First you got to finish, and stuff can happen. So that was Seb. And then just on the start, so this is Leah Goldstein, and she's got a video of the start. So yeah, there's a lot of riders well wrapped up. It looks pretty grim conditions for the start there. So a tough day out for everyone, and definitely worth remembering that I tend to cover the front of the race, and the front groups, but there's the whole mid pack, and I think the Tour Divide is made by the people in the mid pack as well. So yeah, tough day for everyone, and quite often it's easy to go faster because you get through the bad conditions worse, you get over the long passes worse, the gaps are relatively shorter then time wise to resupply. So it's easy to go fast. So yeah, big shout out to everyone in the mid pack. And yeah, if you are listening, I'm putting this out as a podcast as well. So if you are riding out there, enjoy it, good luck, and keep on plodding away. Finally, just finish on Victor. So this is our leader at the moment. So this is the bike he's riding, this quite fast looking Factor semi-aero adventure bike. It's got like 2.3 inch tires in there. So yeah, it's going to be fast. He's going to be very fast on the smoother sections. I do wonder whether he'll lose a little bit of time to the guys on the mountain bike on some of the rougher sections. I remember riding on a drop bar, steel frame version, something like this, like my Mason in search of in 2019, with a rigid fork, and I was getting pretty battered, especially near the end when you're tired, your upper body's fatigued, and you're going down the long passes. It can put a lot of strain on your neck and arms. So yeah, that's something to think about. But yeah, for now, it doesn't seem to be slowing Victor down, and we'll see how the race progresses. So yeah, and that's Victor there. And we'll just finish off with a little update from him. So this is a voice note. Obviously, it's in French, but there's subtitles. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the subtitles. I'll paraphrase it after if you're listening in podcast format. So over to you, Victor.
Environ 81, 82. Ça roule bien. J'ai rattrapé mon retard de 20 minutes au bout de 2h30. Donc ça veut dire que j'ai un rythme qui est beaucoup plus élevé que les autres. Et pourtant, j'avais pas l'impression de taper dedans. Donc c'est bon signe. Et là on est sur une partie route. J'ai pas de réseau depuis le départ. Quasi. Donc vous allez recevoir la vidéo vous expliquant mon retard très tard. J'espère que vous vous inquiétez pas. En tout cas, il y a le tracker. Et tant que je roule, c'est que ça va bien.
So that's Victor. So basically, he says, it's feeling good. He was delayed. I think it's 22 minutes. He says he'll tell everyone why soon. So yeah, not quite sure what that was yet, but he caught up within 2 hours. And he says he feels strong, even though he's not pushing. He feels like he's, not pushing too hard, and he's obviously the fastest rider on the course at the moment. So that's good to hear from Victor, and we'll see we'll see how that works out as we go along. So thanks everyone for joining me. That's it for today. If you like what I'm doing, then consider subscribing, and catch you again tomorrow for the next update. So see you then.